Hello, my name is Dolorosa Halilintar. I am from the Department of Pharmacology and Pharmacy, School of Medicine and Health Science at Madaya Catholic University of Indonesia. Right now, I would like to present my study about, or with title, Relationship between Knowledge and Socio-Demographic Characteristics with Stigmatizing Behaviour towards People living with HIV/AIDS. So the background of the study, HIV/AIDS is still a significant health problem globally. Indonesia is a country with the largest population of HIV/AIDS in Southeast Asia and the highest prevalence in Asia for total. It is estimated that the current prevalence of HIV/AIDS in Indonesia is around 0.1% of the total population. People with HIV/AIDS are often discriminated against from the general public and healthcare providers. Discrimination can hinder treatment patterns and worsen the social dynamics of people who live with HIV/AIDS. Discrimination by health workers will make patients reluctant to take treatment of health services. Furthermore, discrimination at the level of health facilities will make it difficult for people who suspected with HIV/AIDS to be detected from the beginning. The discrimination that is achieved cannot be separated from the negative stigma that develops in society. Research that conducted by David All at 2020 showed that stigmatization and discrimination can be seen physically, socially, verbally, and can even carry out by the certain institution, including health institution. Misleading and inaccurate knowledge about this disease will increase the bad stigma towards the sufferer. The study will try to find a relationship or correlation between knowledge and social demographic characteristics of the respondents of people in society in general, with the stigmatization of people living with HIV/AIDS. The methodology of study is using quantitative study by conducting further advanced analysis of the 2017 Indonesian Demography and Health Survey, or IDHS data. IDHS data is one of population social surveys regularly held by Central Statistic Agency, or BPS, National Family Board or BKKBN, and the Ministry of Health since 1987 to 2017. So it has been carried for about 6 times since it was carried out from the beginning. The outcome variables that used in the study is stigma that given by the respondent, while ecofactors or independent variables are the level of knowledge and socio-demographic characteristics of the respondents in the form of age, classification of residence, employment status, marital status, internet access, cell phone ownership, economic status, wealth index, and education level. The inclusion criteria is respondent with age 15 to 49 years old, and respondents who answer questions related to stigma against people with HIV/AIDS. While the exclusion criteria were the respondents with missing or incomplete data. The stigma possessed by the respondents is determined from the answer, namely, will the respondents buy vegetables from the vendors who has HIV? And the other question is a child with HIV allowed to go to school with children who do not have HIV? If the respondents answer no from one of the question, they will be considered as people who have negative stigma. Meanwhile, to determine the level of knowledge, there are 4 questions from the questionnaire that use to assess the level of knowledge of the respondents. If they correctly answer at least 3 questions, the respondents will be considered to have a high level of knowledge. On the contrary, if the people only answer 2 questions correctly or less, he will be grouped as having low knowledge. Descriptive analysis in the study is using to determine the distribution of respondents' characteristics and the proportion of the people who have negative stigma compared to people who have not negative stigma or unnegative stigma. Like a logistic regression model, as we can see, is used to see the relationship between the level of knowledge and social demographic characteristic of the respondents with stigmatization of or to people living with HIV or AIDS. The result is more respondents have negative stigma, or about 54.12%, or about 6,818 respondents from the 12,599 eligible respondents. The proportion is almost similar to study that conducted in India at 2017 by Kumar et al. That shows that 45.5% people have negative stigma, but still higher than a similar study conducted in China shows that 43.3% have negative stigma. Logistic regression show that knowledge has a significant relationship with the stigma by using the inverse odds ratio, or 1 per OR. It can be seen that highly knowledgeable respondents have lower chance of having negative stigma. The other socio-demographic characteristic factors, that is education level, cell phone ownership, and economic level, also have significant effect on negative stigmatization of people with HIV/AIDS. Respondents with higher education will have probability or less likely have a negative stigma towards people with HIV/AIDS. Meanwhile, owning a cell phone leads to decrease in the chance of the negative stigma. And if we see the wealth index of economic level, we can see that decrease of stigma, negative stigma, is connected to increases of economic status. By see the result of the study, we can see that negative stigma to people with HIV/AIDS is still relatively high in Indonesia. This may be because general public knowledge about HIV/AIDS is still relatively low. And we can see that relationship between a socioeconomic status and stigmatization can occur because better economic condition of respondent may be correlated with higher education level and greater ability to examine information. By see the result of study, we can see that the intervention should be done by provide more intense information and cheaper access to information about HIV/AIDS. I think that's all about my presentation. I wish that you understand and you enjoy the presentation. Thank you for your attention.